To have whatever you need on the screen.
I don't see it saying live.
We are live.
I see
Oh,
live. Hmm.
To have whatever
Yes.
screen.
hello everyone.
I see it saying live.
Thank you.
We are live.
I
Oh,
see
Thank
live.
you for thank you for joining us tonight. We have a wonderful show ahead, but before we start, let us play our introduction.
Share sound. Share sounding is required. Share your sound.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you being here with us tonight. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Thank you. I realized that my video didn't play.
Right. That's
Should we
okay.
try that again? Well, I don't know. Should we try that again? What do you think, producer?
Share your screen and play the sound. Make sure you have share sound as well when you share your screen.
It didn't let me do that. That was why I had that challenge. Is it because it's over there with you or?
Work on it now.
Here we go.
Guides my life and all my finances. All is well, all is well. The divine source of the universe guides my life and all my resources. All is well, all is well. The divine source of the universe guides my life and all my finances. All is well, all is well. The divine source of the universe guides my life and all my resources. All is well, all is well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I apologize for that snafu. I'm actually trying something different tonight. And the reason that I wanted to replay that video is because the disclaimer had to be put up there. We've had our challenges on some of these social media streams because the conversations that we're having, um, sometimes it's out of the scope of what they would like us to be producing. So that's okay. So we got it done. So thank you for that. I hope it gave us enough time to have more people join us. Thank you. My name is Mushim Soot. Some people call me Rita Stewart, and we are so excited to continue day 3 with Ignite Your Soul Connection, the Wealth Factor. Now, if you were with us on on Sunday, actually, we started with the overview where we went down to ground zero. And we looked at this is the condition of our community and where we need to build from. So we're understanding that we have to state what the problem is or state what the challenge is so that we can alter it. All right. So that's what we did on Sunday night with Coach Alanda and Coach Kiana. And then on Monday, our wonderful Nin Yushez Ray, Dr. Yushez, she came on and really started introducing us to the first pillar of wealth, which is family. We have got to get solid inside of how important our homes are, how important our children are, how important our mates are, how important the people in our neighborhoods. We have to put energy and empowerment into those entities. They're our family first. Okay? Family first is what we came out with from yesterday. And now today, we actually get to work with one of my favorite coaches. Actually, all my coaches are favorite. Let me say that disclaimer. But we get to work with one of the coaches who is from our first set of coaches. So back in 2010, Dr. Tammy came on board. And she has demonstrated so much of her own work, her own growth, and how she supports the community around her. She is one of those people that actually is inside of the conversation of family first, community first, mates first. She understands that. So we want to actually now take on that second pillar of wealth, which is health. So if you don't mind coming in, Dr. Tammy, and tell us what it is that we're going to be working with today. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful, Mushin. So how are you?
Oh my God, you're just gorgeous.
Oh
You're
my
just glowing. You are wonderful.
Mirror, mirror.
Absolutely.
Mirror, mirror.
Thank you so much for the time. Now, I could talk about you all night and we wouldn't have a show. So why don't you start off by introducing yourself? Tell people who you are, what you've been up to, and where you live and all that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the platform, Mushin Su, because 2024 has been amazing. For those who do not know me, I am Dr. Tammy Matthews. I am a holistic practitioner, what they call a registered naturopath. And that just simply means that I teach people how to heal from a holistic perspective. I do not prescribe drugs. I don't just work with symptoms. I actually teach people how to prevent illnesses and how to reverse them. So that is why I am a healer. Okay, that's the difference. I actually am currently living in Costa Rica via Atlanta and Chicago. So I moved here it's been 8 months already from Atlanta.
Oh my goodness. Has it been 8 months?
It has been
April.
months.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wonderful.
As of Sunday, 8 months. And but my home is Chicago, Chi-Town. And I'm still here working. I'm working with expats. I'm working virtually. I am still supporting the community with my knowledge, my wisdom, and everything else, I guess. And I have my cosmic signature.
Yes, tell us your cosmic signature. Absolutely.
So
I probably know it by her, but go ahead.
I was going to say, you probably do, because we have the same Myers-Briggs. So I'm Aries sun, of course, Scorpio moon, Libra ascendant, Chinese dog, primal Doberman pinscher. That was new for me. I was like, how did I miss that? And
Wow.
yeah, and Myers-Briggs, I am introverted, intuitive, thinking, and judging, INTJ. I think we have the same
Mm.
Myers-Briggs
It's
acronym.
amazing how all of us overlap. You know, isn't it?
Yes,
That is so cool.
it
Yeah,
is. I
all of
love
us
it.
overlap.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate the uniqueness of our signature. And people are always asking me, how are you around all of these gorgeous women and there's no cat fights? I say, because we
Um,
all live inside of the truth of who we are. I'm like
Absolutely.
not like them, they're not like me, but we share like beliefs,
Oh my
and
goodness.
we raise
Yeah.
ourselves inside of that.
And we are mirrors, like we see
We
ourselves in
understand
each other.
absolutely.
We understand. So what we
Yeah.
fighting ourselves? No, no,
No.
that's not what we do.
Right. No, and there's no jealousy because the other side of jealousy is admiration. I can truly admire you without having any inch of wanting anything or taking anything, but I want to give to you. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference.
Absolutely. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
difference.
Hmm.
And you know, the
Wonderful.
gratitude that I have for you and all my fellow coaches, because I am so supported. I would
Mm.
not be here. You know, I'm 15 years in. I think I was the
15
class of
years in,
2010.
15 years. 15 years. I was just looking at that the other day. And I think, Dr. Tammy, that you have probably been on all of our episodes except for maybe one. Maybe
Wow.
one season you may have missed in those 15
Wow.
years. Isn't it crazy?
Oh,
So
wow.
you
I
are
love
a
it.
person that supports, I don't think I've ever paid you a check for that.
Well,
And
the benefits have
yes,
exceeded any check.
yeah,
So I am
ab-
so grateful.
absolutely. So now, why don't you start with what would you say is the first process or the first thing we could do to begin stabilizing our own health personally?
Ooh, I would say, which is so learning how to breathe properly, understanding the power of breath. And I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember this, but one of the times we were talking, you didn't know this at the time, but I did not know that I was not breathing properly until my very first class with Master Force Academy in
Mm.
2010. We were sitting in a circle at the Quaker House.
Yes. I used to love
And
I love our meetings at the Quaker House.
me too, in Chicago and South
Yes.
Side. And we were in a circle and we were learning how to breathe to center. And I could not breathe to center. I could not breathe in, hold it, exhale, none of that. And what I later found out was that I was breathing from my clavicle and not
Yes.
diaphragm.
Diaphragm. Mm.
Clavicle is associated with stress. So
Yes.
at some point in my life, I stopped breathing properly from the diaphragm and was breathing from the clavicle, which is very dangerous.
Yeah. And
So,
that's people who, what do you call that when they hyperventilate, right? It's
mhm,
because of that.
mhm.
And when I can't breathe, it's because that's stress breathing. Yes.
Absolutely. High
Hmm.
anxiety. I was in sales, I was in the pharmaceutical sales industry. So when you're in the sales industry, you're accustomed to drinking coffee and you're always on your toes and anxiety and stress, da da
Yes.
da.
Mm.
And yeah, it was killing me. And so I would
Mm.
say, even from learning that and taking that into my business and practice, I have been able to teach people the very fundamental, most important piece of healing and learning how to heal by just learning how to breathe. You'd be amazed at the amount of people that I've had to teach that and the benefits of knowing how to breathe from the diaphragm.
That is so true. And you know, it was interesting when I was actually downloading the work, you know, 30 something years ago and teaching the young people how to do it. And my
Mhm.
spirit was really inside of, you know, how do you, first of all, you just made a statement. I don't know when I stopped breathing properly because babies know how to breathe, children know how to breathe.
Yes.
But in our capacity with that stress, we stop checking in.
Stop checking in.
And so that's
Absolutely.
what happens. Yeah. So part of our work, you know, and we actually put that in as one of the part of the portable curriculum. So, you know,
Mhm.
people teach everybody. Our work is to teach everybody how to breathe that comes into our practices. So that's,
Yes.
yes,
Because it saves, knowing how to breathe properly saves work on the heart. It helps with respiratory efficiency. You know, it helps to minimize stress. You conserve energy. It boosts your circulation. So there are people who are literally walking around with high blood pressure or high anxiety just because they don't know how to breathe properly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oxygen, absolutely.
Oxygen.
So when you talk about breathing, you know, you immediately think about energy, right? Because that's what the
Yes.
breath is providing to us. Energy. How would
Yes.
you say
Energy.
energy awareness actually provides a type of protection for us? You know, because and yeah, I got something special about that on Friday night. But how does energy awareness give us provide a sense of protection? You know, and
Yes.
incorporate that breath into that. Yeah. Hmm.
So that's a great question. So energy awareness it starts with understanding that first of all, energy is neither created nor destroyed. That is something that is here now and will always be. And it's always floating around us. It's flowing through us, it's flowing around us. So it's important to know and understand your own energy. And in order to assess that, you have to know how to breathe. Like that's the just a very fundamental thing is knowing how to breathe so that you can assess how is my energy today. You have to get
Hmm.
quiet. You have to be able to hear the inner workings of your organs and your tissues and your glands. How are your emotions? How is your brain today? And with that awareness, then you're able to discern the energy around you. It's very challenging to assess energy around you for protection purposes, as well as for possible communion with your or attracting your tribe. If you are not aware, you're too busy to assess your own energy and do a body scan to see how you are doing in that today.
That's great. And you know, that is so important for the body scan. If we do body scans just on a regular basis, we would save ourselves so much time in sickness, emergency rooms, you know, because that right there will alert you to there's something improper in your nutrition.
Oh my
But you know, I
goodness.
know I know we'll get to
And,
that.
and toxic relationships. Let me just add that.
Oh, and toxic
Ooh.
relationships.
Mm.
Absolutely. So keep talking. Do more conversation inside that mind body energy conversation. Say more about
Yeah.
that.
So the mind actually, well, so the mind body energy is all interconnected. It's important to know that. That's the one big thing that I have been working with my clients to understand. You don't have
Hmm.
the mind over here or the brain over here when you're working. And then when you go to church, you have the spirit or the energy. And then when you go to the gym, you have the, or eat, you have the physical body. They're all interconnected. So the
Hmm.
mind drives what happens with the body as well as the energy that's, remember, flowing within you and around you. So, whatever you are holding in your mind, which is your thoughts, your emotions, your mindset, whatever you're holding in your mind, that is impacting the energy, which is impacting the physical body. So, when people are like, I don't know why I have a headache, I don't know why my right toe hurts,
Mm,
why I have this lump in my breast, it's time then to breathe and to get very quiet. Assess your
yes.
energy. How have you been? Oh, well, my energy has been low. Well, why is that? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been sleeping. Okay. And the manifestation of that is now you have a lump somewhere or you're having
Yep.
headache. Whatever that physical symptom is, our bodies are amazing.
Amazing.
It's letting you know when something is off, whether it's your
Mm-hmm.
energy or whether it's your mind. We have all these signs prior to dis-ease.
Yes. Now, can you actually tell us how nutrition itself converts to energy in our body, and then that becomes a part of what we use to heal and take care of the things going on?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm laughing because, food, nutrition, food is not what it used to be. So I'm going to
Not
use
at
the
all.
term nutrition. But
Yes.
nutrition is the source of energy that actually is converted in the body in order to provide us with the energy needed for our cells, for our physical activities. So when we think of nutrition, we should think of like what they call the macronutrients. So that's the carbs, that's the proteins, that's the fats that we're getting from our whole grains, our fruits, our vegetables. That fuel is needed in order for the trillions of cells in your body
Mm.
to not only replicate healthy cells, but to be able to provide you with the energy just to breathe, just for your brain to work, just for your heart to work, because every cell has its own system. You have mitochondria that is in each individual cell that is relying on nutrition, macronutrients, micronutrients in
Mm-hmm.
order for the body and the mind to function efficiently. And that helps with your energy level as well. So, in some cases, if you are doing a body scan and you're assessing your energy and you say, why is my energy low? Well, what have you eaten today?
Mm-hmm.
If you say, well, I had a breakfast sandwich this morning, well, how nutritious was that processed, rubbery, out of the box breakfast sandwich? Did it give your body what it needed? Did it give your cells what
Probably
it needed?
not.
Probably not, which is why your
Mm-hmm.
energy is low. So all that plays a role. So that's why I said nutrition. Your
Mm-hmm.
healthy carbs. Your carbs is the preferred source of energy. The body wants carbs, but carbs are your vegetables. You get carbs. You don't have to have white potatoes. You can
Right.
have your vegetables. You can have your whole grains. And then when your body no longer has carbs in the system, then it will go to fat. And so these are
Mm-hmm.
healthy fats. These are your avocados and your olive oil, your healthy fats for fuel. And then after that, if you no longer have fats, which unfortunately most people still have enough carbs and fats that they really don't need protein, that is not the preferred source. You need it for, of course, like, your muscles and things like that, but not for fuel. But for like marathon runners and things like that, they'll tap
Mm-hmm.
into the protein for source in order to be able to endure these long runs or for people that are fasting and things like that. So that's why it's important to have, like I said, like your avocados, your nuts, your seeds, and things like that to keep the body balanced. And then you have your
Yes.
micronutrients, which is when people are like, oh, I take my vitamin A, I take my vitamin B. Those are just supplements. They are
Hmm.
supposed to supplement a good
Not
diet.
replace. Yes.
Not replace. It just helps
Hmm.
to convert the the food, the nutrition that you've eaten into fuel, but it is
Hmm.
not for energy. It's not an energy source.
That's
So
really great.
yeah,
Mm.
so overall, we want to make sure that we are actually honing in on nutrition to help support our energy
Hmm.
versus just food.
I remember years ago thinking that I did not want to have events around food. Like every time somebody come, oh, let's eat.
Yeah,
There can always be
I know why.
tea and water and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But I just had that thought. But you know what else I just thought of? Do you remember when margarine replaced butter?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that Imperial Crown butter commercial?
Hmm. It was, it's not butter, parquet or something like that. It was,
I mean, they had, and next thing here come my grandmother in the house with, you know, this new butter. And it's not
yep,
butter. It's
not butter.
plastic. It's one
Plastic.
molecule away from plastic.
Exactly.
And so we thought that, okay, I'll eat this margarine because then I won't have to eat this fat from the butter. And we
Hmm.
need fat. I don't care what
Hmm.
anybody says, we have to have fat, you know,
Natural fats and not
natural fat.
artificial, because you know they make it less expensive in order to drive you and convert you to
Yes,
plastic. Yes.
yes. So most of what people are eating is what you're calling, yeah, could be plastic food.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like you were talking
Hmm.
about the breakfast sandwich. Most of that is not nutrient rich food.
Not at all. And those that are driving through, and I was guilty of this. I'm not here to judge anybody. Let me put that disclaimer here because I was a Starbucks girl. Go through the drive-through, get your sugary drink, and maybe I shouldn't have said the name of the company.
No offense to
But
them.
no offense, because it got me through some stuff.
I still go there
But
for my green tea when I'm out and about. So,
there you go. There you go.
hmm
And they do have some, vegan options now. But for the most part, you substitute this liquid full of sugar, in my case, because I didn't do black coffee, for nutrition. And so then what do you think happens when you're putting this fuel in your body and the body wants to be able to like work for you, function for you, and you just gave it like liquid crack.
right. And now I'm all hyper.
Now I'm hyper, then I'm gonna crash and burn right
And then I'm
around
going to be so tired and foggy brain. People, oh, I can't think right. Yeah, it's
by 11
again
o'clock.
nutrition.
It's over. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is a nutrition. I think Kiana and I were talking the other day after I called about what we put in our coffee. And I was telling her I put and we put some of the same stuff, right? Diatomaceous earth, creatine,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
MCT oil,
yeah,
collagen, and then I'm
yeah,
gonna add my spices, which is gonna be cinnamon, cayenne,
yeah.
clove, and
Hmm.
I forget what the third one is, but it's like a elixir, you
It
know.
really, it is.
Hmm.
It
And
is
so that's
because
my that takes me all the way through
hmm
morning. I don't usually do a breakfast. I'm not a eating
hmm
person. I'm a beverage
hmm
person.
because that's nutrition, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're putting in nutrition so that, whenever you choose to break your fast, your
Yeah.
cells and your tissues are getting nutrients so that it can do something with it.
Yes,
It can't
absolutely.
do anything with plastic and all of that. And I actually, since I've been here, cacao is a big thing down here. So I have
Yes.
the cacao with like some of the similar things that you all put in your coffee. And that's
Yes.
sometimes my early morning, or my watermelon
Yeah.
juice, or I'm in the mood for.
Oh, watermelon juice. Oh, see, look at you, watermelon juice. I do cacao because, when I was healing, I
Yeah,
found out that it literally remakes your stem cells. So I do
exactly.
cacao as my afternoon beverage, you
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I think you can do cacao anytime. It opens your heart. I mean, I
Oh,
think you can.
it is
Uh,
so amazing. Yeah. And
yes,
I order it bulk,
yeah.
bulk
We get it
raw
in bulk.
cacao. Yep.
Raw
Hmm.
cacao, because actually down here they do cacao ceremonies. That's how they value. They have cacao everywhere. That's just a part of their tradition.
Yeah. Our producer is saying ginger, cinnamon, and cardamom.
Yum. Yeah, we
Okay.
get some
That's the
cinnamon
other one,
sticks.
cinnamon. I use
Yeah,
cinnamon
cinnamon.
s- because that actually helps your blood sugar.
It
You
does.
you know,
It
it
does.
really does. It
Yeah.
stabilizes it. And I've been doing that for over 20 years. It really does
Yeah,
help so that you don't have those spikes, you know.
exactly.
So I want to move to another topic, still inside of the whole mind body energy field. But you
Okay.
notice how after the whole COVID thing, how many people became, it seemed like movement became an issue. There was hip joints
Mm.
and knee joints and all of this. Can you talk a little bit about sitting so long and, in our days, because
Yeah.
that's what happened, sitting and then movement? Why is movement so important, and how can we counter this, what's going on inside of that conversation of sitting in our joints?
Yeah. That has been a big thing for me, working virtually. Sitting for
Yes.
8 to 10 hours, I started
Mm,
getting stiff. And one of the things that I learned, because I thought I was being proactive by doing some jump rope, like before I get started,
yeah.
taking walks, walk the dog throughout the day. Um, and so that helped a little bit, especially when I was in Atlanta. But when I got here, I was a little bit limited because, it just wasn't as convenient to walk around. That's a long story. Because you got the beach. It's so tempting to just sit on the beach. I just want to sit in the water. So,
Beach. Love the beach. I love it.
like, no, I got to work. You cannot
Yes.
leave, because if you leave, you're going to get distracted. And then you see people, you
Yep.
start talking. There's a lot of people here for vacation.
Yes. Right.
um,
Right.
but movement is so important because um, the circulation of the body, the blood, the heart, the lungs, all is relying upon these blood vessels, this lymphatic system, to function properly. So when we are sitting for long periods of time, our hip flexors get tight.
Mm.
Um, our lymphatic system, especially if you're eating at your desk, your lymphatic system is your detox system. It's your vessels right under the
It's
skin.
sluggish. Hmm.
It's sluggish and backed up.
Mm.
Um, then,
Hmm.
then your blood is dirty. The heart now has to pump harder to try to get the blood throughout the body, the arteries away from the heart, and the veins are trying to bring it back up, along with the lymphatic vessels trying to get rid of waste. It just causes the body to break down. And it also, your creative energy becomes stagnant when you're not moving.
Mm. Yes.
Um, your natural rhythm of the body is then off when you don't move. And when your
Hmm.
natural rhythm is off, that plays a role in everything else, what we already talked about as far as your breathing, as far as your nutrition, your awareness. Everything is thrown off when your natural rhythm is off. And
Mm.
what's the solution for that? Well, it's literally balancing. Um, like I got a standing desk. When I got here,
Yes.
I got a standing desk, and
Mm-hmm.
that helped. That helped. But also being intentional and taking breaks, because
Yes.
even for your brain to be creative, to just be able to create, you need circulation in your brain. Um, I believe that for me anyway, I believe that I was so driven and focused and, well, let me finish this first, and let me do this first, and let me, because we've been
Mm.
programmed to put everything and everybody ahead of our own needs.
Yes.
And when we talked
Yes.
about awareness and we talked about body scans, your body is saying, hey, hey, take a break.
I'm over here. I'm over
I'm
here.
over here. It's okay. It's gonna get done. But what I need before we get too far along, and then you just can't move, or you start having back pain, or your hips,
Mm.
are tight, or whatever. I need you to just go and stretch. I need you to drink some water. I need you to take a
Yes.
walk. Your body
Yes.
speaks to you on that. So movement even allows your body and your soul to just like connect, to become one. So you can flow in that. My big rant on social media, and I'm sure you've been noticing this, is, you know, we think we were brought here just to work and help somebody else get rich.
Yes.
That's our only purpose, is to go to work and come home, or serve the, and this is where we get in judgment. And so I'm on to the church people. I'm not gonna get on them tonight, but I'm here to help the less fortunate. So I'm
Mm.
gonna give them some time, right?
Mm.
Judging. And then I have no time for myself. And
But
so then
I'm a good person.
I'm a good person. I pay my
Mm-hmm.
tithes. I
Yeah.
help the I help the
Yeah.
poor. It doesn't matter that I'm sick and that my mindset is a poor poverty mindset. That doesn't matter. What
Yes.
matters is I do the things that I was programmed to do, and then I go to bed and I can't sleep at night because I have body aches, my hormones are off, or
Everything is
whatever else.
off. Yes.
Everything is off. I take a medication that prevents me from sleeping, or whatever. So it just throws everything off. So movement helps to relieve stress. It helps for the good endorphins to come in, so that we can mentally, emotionally have these amazing thoughts in our mind that translate to a healthy body, that mind
Yes.
body connection and great energy.
That's wonderful. And I love that you did bring up that we've lost our focus. Like literally, we are spiritual beings.
Yeah.
We've
Having
come
human
here,
experience.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we've come here inside of a conversation of knowing God. And to know God, we have to evolve or ascend into the highest version of ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
But chasing the bag get
Mm.
you there, nor
Woo!
is it the thing that shows the value that says you've arrived. Oh, you got this
Yeah.
bag. Oh, you've got this position. Oh, you've got this status. Oh, you
Hmm.
got these expensive shoes. I disappoint
Oh,
people all the time because they look down at my feet. I probably got on some flip flops or some slippers, or, because that's not good use of my investment.
it
When you
really is
start off,
not.
when you talk about breathing, and now we go down to that, now I'm going to take my hard earned cash and put it on my feet. You see what I'm saying?
I
We've
I absolutely
lost
agree.
sight. Yes.
We have. And the BIPOC community, and, I just learned that from you all on Sunday.
I love that. I got that from
You want
Aretha
a hand
Atlanta.
up? I
Yes,
know, that's
yes.
what I'm saying. I got it from you too. The BIPOC community, we're at the bottom of the scale for income. The Black
Yeah,
community is at the bottom, average income about $56,000 a year.
Yeah.
The Latin people are a little bit above us, and we are the top spenders. We are the top spenders.
What did they
Black
say?
Friday,
$750 billion. Like we could literally own our country.
us, our community, the lowest paid people, keep the economy stimulated.
Yeah.
That's not
And we keep the
alignment.
that's not alignment. And it doesn't speak to the power that we
Mm.
are. We are some powerful beings.
Yes, we are.
And Alanda and Kiana did speak on this about how, just the values that we look at, like that, our appearance,
Mhm.
what people think about, that costs money.
Yes.
But when you look at the billionaires, you can't tell from what they wear that they are billionaires because they don't put it on their body. It's
The
not for
top
show.
earners in the US are Asians. Very
Okay.
seldom do you see an Asian drive a Mercedes. If they do,
Right.
they're probably doctors, to be honest with you.
Mm.
You just don't see them walking around with expensive stuff. And if you do, they have they're in the Black communities, I hate to say it, and they have Black friends. I mean, because that's just not something that it would look unusual. Why is that? So
Why
yes,
is that?
we're out of
Yeah.
alignment. And also the Black community or the BIPOC community are at the top of the list. If you go to the Center of Disease Control of dying of the number one disease that's killing Americans, which is heart disease.
Heart disease.
So somewhere we're out of alignment, which is why I do what I do.
Yeah, and and I do love and I do follow. I try to like everything that that you say. I share sometime, but I'm not out there enough always to keep it. But
Yeah.
what we don't realize that if we have not taken responsibility for ourselves,
Mhm.
our children are watching.
Mhm.
And they're not going to take responsibility for themselves.
Exactly.
They see you get sick and you run to the doctor and you got all these pills and that's not taking care of yourself.
Exactly. It is not. And
You
the
know,
old saying of do what I say and not what I do, that doesn't work.
it has played out. It
Played
has
out.
played out. And then now talk a little bit about how rest and renewal actually comes into play inside of regenerating our health. What is that? Because it I don't know if you see it, but people glorify not sleeping.
Oh yeah, I sleep when I'm dead. I'm like,
You
okay.
killing yourself sooner.
Where do they get this stuff from? I'm like, from, and then you hear of people dropping dead or having lifestyle,
Yes.
illness. And yeah. So we all have something called a circadian rhythm.
Yes.
And the purpose of that, the creator installed that into our body
Oh,
in order for us to have some type of clock internally so we know how to keep our bodies and our minds and our emotions healthy, functioning. We have amazing zillion dollar temples that we totally do not honor and respect as we should. So this circadian rhythm, most of the people have heard about it in regards to nighttime because right around dusk, the body starts making melatonin to prepare you to have 7 to 9 hours of a great deep sleep so that the body can rebuild and rejuvenate and cleanse itself, you know? Uh, Unfortunately, most people are like, forget that circadian rhythm. I'm gonna go to sleep when I feel like going to sleep, right?
Okay.
Or they fall asleep, with their phones in their hands or the television
The
on or
television
whatever.
on.
Exactly. And unfortunately, when you don't get that 7 to 9 hours of a good deep sleep, there is no cellular repair. There is no um, brain detox. The muscles don't get what they need. The body doesn't align. So then you're in a deficit the next day. Now, there is also the circadian rhythm is um, in effect even during the day. So when you first wake up in the morning, you have the cortisol. That's your cortisol goes up, and that's when you're up and you're productive and moving. You're actually utilizing the cortisol. It's not just sitting, okay? And real quick, a quick disclaimer is when you're stressed out, so you're at work, you're stressed out and you're sitting, and then all this cortisol is emitted from the body and it goes into the gut, it's just going to sit there because you're not doing anything. You're not
Yeah.
moving, you're sitting at a desk and you're just stressing out. So that's where the damage long term comes in. But the natural cortisol that happens in the morning is giving you just enough, the hormones give you just enough in the blood to get up, get to the train, get to your car, get your kids to school, just enough for that. And then you're supposed to bring it down. Usually between 1 and 3, the body is ready to kind of take a break, relax. If you can do a siesta, which I see down here in Costa Rica, they take siestas around this piece, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
They're
When I
naps.
used when I used to go to Mexico when I worked for Zenith, I used to go down there probably once or twice every other month. Baby, they had their
Mm.
toothbrushes in the bathroom and like,
Uh.
where's everybody going? They went to the whole plant was gone.
they
Siesta.
they take their siestas. The post
And
office,
then
they
they come back.
close. They
Yep.
take their breaks. Yes, and then they come back to work, but they're
Yeah.
going to take their break. And
Yes.
then right around the evening time again, right around dusk, that's when the body starts making the melatonin to
Mm-hmm.
prepare you for a good night's sleep. So this circadian rhythm is designed to help for you to rest and renew your body, your mind, I even like your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we don't listen to it.
Yeah,
We don't
and
allow our bodies to renew.
I tell people who say they don't like to sleep a lot, it's like, well, at least go to bed by 10 so that when your actual when all of your glands start to detox is between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Exactly.
So if you can go in, but you have to be in a deep sleep. You can't go to sleep at 11. You got to go
I
to
was
bed at
gonna
10. So you
say
in a deep
exactly.
sleep already. And
Mm,
besides the glands and everything, our soul goes to
mm,
work. Our
mm.
soul actually travels when we sleep. We can
Yes.
get, and then we can also use this time for some deep programming. How
Mm,
about
mm.
binaural beats? How about
Woo.
creating
Mm.
affirmations to listen to while you sleep? Or even listening
Yes.
to affirmations on YouTube while you sleep. Turn off the television
Yes.
though. It's a really, the mind never stops, so you may as well have it work for you. What do
That's
you need to
right.
accomplish tomorrow? Put
Mm.
that in there and have it done.
That's right. Well, I was watching a video the other day that is so on point. And what the video showed was the left brain, which is, of course, the programmable part of the brain,
Yeah.
is often occupied by, television, movies, concerts, and all of that, because there is a frequency that you can't hear that they're playing for the right side of the brain, which, the right side of the brain is not programmable, but they keep this part distracted so that they can seep into the subconscious mind whatever
Yeah.
that programming is they want you to hold.
Yeah.
So when we are proactive and when we know better, we do better. And we are actually programming our own brains when we're asleep. That's a
Absolutely.
form of detoxification as well. We want to be able to intentionally put in what we want to get out, which hopefully for most people is good health, wellness, wealth. You know, I always say health is wealth, healing, whatever that is, you get to choose what you want to enter into your brain while you're resting. And even during
Hmm.
the day. I don't watch television. I haven't gone to the show. I like movies, but I really haven't gone to the show. But now that I understand what is happening, and especially during the time and period of what's going on right now, as a healer, I can't really afford to be distracted because I have to stay focused on what's getting ready to happen here so that I can hopefully lead and guide the people, the community.
Absolutely. Because I love the reference that you made because it emphasizes that the right brain is the most powerful because it creates. But if you're not taking responsibility for what you're putting in there, it's creating havoc.
Yes. Well, we just look around. If you got
Yes.
your kids that just don't like you, or I mean, whatever, get in trouble at school, your body's breaking down, or I mean, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And again, it's no judgment. That's why we're doing this to bring awareness because people may not understand how
May
they've
not
got in a
understand.
place of,
Hmm.
being on medication or being in the hospital constantly or having to always, the kids always sick. That's what we want to do is bring awareness to this, that you do have
Absolutely.
control over your overall health and wellness, your universe. You have your own universe.
Absolutely. I remember I was telling someone that my kids never went to the emergency room as children. That wasn't, I did teach them how to self heal. And I taught
Yeah.
them first that their hand has the healing properties of Jesus,
Mm,
so when something happens, you use your hand. And actually, all of us do that. As soon as something
mm.
happens, we put our hand right on there.
We sure do.
That's the first thing that we do
We
because
sure
we've
do.
been given that healing power. It's in our hands.
It's in our hands. Everything we need is inside of us.
Yes.
We've been programmed to go outward, and you have such a huge testimony, Musha. So I always, always, always think about your testimony and how you healed yourself at an age that most of us wouldn't even I never met anybody like you until I met you, right? That just
Well, that's the initiation, right?
realized, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So to
Mm-hmm.
know that and to know people who have done it,
Right.
right? To be able to tap in and say, well, you know what? If everything is inside of me, let me connect with the creator, because that's my whole thing right now. Connect with the one who made you and ask him to show
Yes.
you your gifts and your talents and your powers so that you can
Right.
heal, so that you can attract abundance.
Man, you know, that is really because all of us have the blueprint. It's already there. It's not like we have to create it. It's like go in, listen, and then allow it to just expand and allow yourself to expand.
But they can't do that if they're watching TV all
No, or eating bad food, or in
or
bad
eating bad
relationship,
food,
or
bad
drinking tap
relationship,
water, all of that.
all of that.
And it's not, I do want people to hear that we really do get what all of us are up against. And what
Hmm.
we're saying is let us be the leaders, first of
Yes.
all, in our own life.
Yes.
and then take that on in our family and make sure that we're empowering our children and our mates in our community with
Mhm.
this same idea. But we first have to
Absolutely.
do it for ourselves. We have to be the example.
Ourselves. We have to be the example because all you got to do is walk it out. That's what Yeshua did. Yeshua, he went somewhere. That's my big thing now. He went somewhere and learned. Some
Come
people say he
on.
went to Egypt. Wherever
Yep.
he went, he learned the mysteries. He learned the power
Yes.
that he had. And he came back and he modeled it for his community.
Yes.
He didn't just come and
Yes.
teach it, he modeled it. That's what we're supposed
I
to.
and the Father are one.
Yes, yes. We were created in God's image and likeness.
Yes.
Greater work shall we do than Yeshua. All of that is in the Bible. Now, why
All
are
of
we
it.
not performing that like that globally? I have no idea.
Well, because we've been taught to give our energy, and people don't even realize that part too. That when and before I go there, let me say this: God is no respecter of person. So I don't care
Right.
how much you hoop, holler, and praise. That is
Mm,
not for God. That is
that's
to
right.
get your vibration and frequency to a certain point, so I can say, okay, pass the basket now. We got to
Mhm.
build this church or join it. All of that is a conditioned prompting for you to lose yourself,
Mm,
right? And now I can direct you in what I need to do. And most of the time, I'm asking you for what? Your money. So I can buy
absolutely.
stuff, not so I can help you build a school or houses for the elderly. No, I need an airplane in a bigger church. That has nothing
Absolutely.
to do with God's work.
Absolutely. And I was listening to Dr. Gilbert Nelson. Are you familiar with him?
Yes, yes, yes,
And what he said was there are those whose souls have evolved and which they are able to tap in to their own power. They
yes.
understand their gifts, their assignments, their soul plans. And then there are those whose souls haven't quite evolved, and which is why they have to be a part of a religious organization in
I can
order
hear
to
that.
get that stimulation
Mm-hmm.
to feel better because they just haven't, the souls just have not evolved. And I said, well, that makes sense. I mean, I was a
Yeah.
part of it for so many years,
Oh,
but I
me too.
just could never get it. Some stuff I just couldn't get. I just didn't understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I
And
had
and th-
questions. My curiosity was just, you can't just tell me, because I can read too.
yeah, exactly. And why is my body becoming thicker and I'm in the church more than most people? That
Mm.
doesn't make sense. I'm in a leadership position. I'm serving, I'm tithing, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. And I am about to have a heart attack or stroke, and I am
Wow.
obese, and nobody can help me. And you're watching me become sicker and sicker, and nobody has anything to say. Just nothing. So
Because they don't know. They don't know. They're in the
absolutely.
same
So
state. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, which is why I then had to go out and look for the truth myself because I was like,
Yes.
I'm not going to be a statistic. But I later, of
Good for
course,
you. Yes.
overstood that my soul had evolved. I was programmed to go to church
Yeah.
because I didn't know Mushu,
Yeah.
at the time that I started looking for answers. So that's why I'm so
Mm-hmm.
grateful for you and Master Force being apart for 30 years. I wish I had known him 30 years ago
Well,
because,
actually, we met at the right time, because if you would have met me 30 years ago, I probably wasn't ready for Master Force. I was still I said to still evolve myself. Because I remember when the universe said to me, whatever it said, duplicate yourself. I woke up
yeah.
that morning and said, duplicate myself. Well, what does that look like? I mean, I was like, who? Well, am I listening to the right voice right now? Are we cloning me? you know, then I said, okay,
Please.
let me meditate on that. And Spirit said, no, just create more life coaches. Well, people won't
Yeah.
create. There was no life coaching going on
Mm-mm.
when I did that in
Mm-mm.
2010.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Not at all.
And I
Mm-mm.
mean, and I had like a few years before that sat down and wrote out that curriculum that I did with, my son and his friends. So I had that curriculum. My spirit
Wow.
had me do that beforehand.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so when I invited people on Facebook, I just said, hey, I'm doing this course. I
Yeah.
mean, it was beautiful. And that's how you know the timing is right.
The timing was right.
But it took me a
Absolutely.
few times. It took me a little bit. I had to keep affirming because I was like, that whole, who do you think you are? I wasn't trying to think I was
Yeah.
anybody. I am
Yeah.
doing what my spirit told me to do, duplicate. And nobody ever
Yes.
challenged me on that. But for myself, I had to keep
Yeah.
believing in what that looked like because it wasn't being done anyplace, you know.
Yes.
And people closest to me were like, how you gonna tell people what to do? Would you,
Of course.
I wasn't
Of
getting,
course.
I wasn't get a good old girl. I wasn't getting any of that.
Of course. That's generally how it
So I
is.
appreciate you for being one of those pioneers. And that's who came into
Mm.
that course. Pioneers, people who always probably did something different than what everybody was doing. You
Yeah.
know,
The black sheep of the families.
all of us, that's something that we all have in common. We are all the black
Oh,
sheep. Isn't that
we
crazy?
are. Yeah.
I
Yeah. When
mean, even
Kiana
the
said that
Caucasian,
Sunday.
we have Caucasian coaches, and they're the
Mhm.
black sheep in their families.
Yeah. Yeah. When Kiana said that Sunday, I was like, that is so true. Oh my
So
goodness. We
true.
are all black sheep.
Yeah. And we found each other so
Mhm.
that we could support, because that's what this is. It's come to the watering
Yeah.
hole, and then we go back out to the world where we're making a difference in other places. We don't just sit
Yeah.
around talking to each other. We
No.
literally go
Mm-mm.
out and make a difference. That's what I love
Absolutely.
about all of you. All of you are doing such big, amazing things. But now let's talk about why it's important, why health is important when we're talking about the wealth factor.
Mm.
Why is health? Why are we including that as not the first pillar, but the second pillar?
Mhm.
Why is that so important?
Well, for me, I always say health is wealth. Mainly because when your body, mind, soul, spirit, emotions are flowing, are in alignment with the creator, when you are your authentic self, when you're aware and you're in tune, automatically wealth follows you, abundance follows you. Um, so we talk about nutrition, we talk about emotional and mental health. We talk about having high frequencies or energy and I like to say high frequency thoughts. And
Yes.
so yeah, and so think about the law of attraction and the law of vibration. So if you're in
Mm.
alignment with and being intentional with a healthy mind, body, soul, spirit, your vibration is naturally going to be higher. And then the wealth that comes with that, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's about the wisdom, it's the knowledge. Money is energy. So of course, if your energy's high, money's going to flow to you. That's just
And it's going to
something.
circulate from that environment that you're in. It can't help
Yes.
but to.
It can't help but to. It's just energy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you are intentional and operating at higher levels, higher frequencies, which does take you to be intentional on good health and wellness and emotional resilience, balance, harmony, movement, all of that plays a role. in you attracting, I say abundance because that comes in so many forms, whether it's healthy relationships, family, friends, your like I live in an environment where I have fruit trees everywhere. Like I can go and just pick fruit off the tree in my yard and beautiful flowers
Wow.
and I can just go in my yard and pick it, put it in a vase. Like that's wealth for me. That's abundance,
Yes. That's
So it's
abundance.
yeah, it's abundance. So it's not so that dollar that is worthless right now, American dollar that's worthless, that is not equivalent to wealth. That's just energy that flows to you and then it flows away from you. And that's just a byproduct of you being a balanced person in alignment with nature and in alignment with the universe and being your authentic self. That's what I would say
Now,
about that.
now, how do we? I want to. I'll go back to the topic, but how do we move away from? Because I'm thinking about people. Our people are workers.
Mhm,
They work, and we know that certain work is not going to generate wealth.
mhm,
So, how do you achieve alignment
mhm,
when you're doing work that
mhm.
is unsatisfied? How do we support people in being able to create the life that they love at
Mhm.
this, remember we talked about ground zero. They're at this
Yeah.
place where they don't want to be, but how do we support them in creating from there and getting
Mhm.
to this area where health is wealth, where they can actually see it and then begin to move into that? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say what helped for me was um, detoxing or fasting
Mm.
because there is so much programming from when we slid out the womb, we just
Oh,
were
come on.
programmed to be workers, just
Yes.
between watching our parents and then we get in school and then the programming, we were programmed to be workers. So, in order to break that programming, I think it's important to literally go on a detox, a fast, a cleanse, because at that point, there's an elevation that happens. There's a connection
The
outside of the
clarity.
matrix.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
when that right brain gets to like really see what's going on, and you're shutting down that left brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, you're able to see and visualize what your soul forgot. It comes back. And then
Mm.
at that point, we're able to then support you and coach you. You got to see for yourself how bad you want to live out your soul purpose, your soul contract. And it
Mm.
will take a sacrifice. Because I can sit here and we've been doing this a long time and share my
Yeah.
experiences, and that's
Yeah.
a waste of time and energy for some people. Some people may be inspired by it and say, okay, you've encouraged me, you've motivated me. I'm going to take a step out. Some that may work, but for most people, you really got to get quiet. You really got to sit and get quiet. You got to turn off the noise. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
had to do. I had to get away from friends, family, television, partying, all of that, and get real quiet and go on a detox so I could hear from the creator the truth about why I was sick, why I was experiencing the things I was experiencing, and what my next steps needed to be. And that's how I ended up getting to Masterful.
Yeah, that is so true, Dr. Tammy. And I still to this day fast and detox on a regular,
Mm-hmm.
just on GP. general principal.
Me
It's
too. Me
sometimes
too.
I have to fast from people, fast from
Mhm.
my phone, fast from work.
Yeah.
It's so many things. A friend asked me today, he was like, how many projects you have going on right now? you
I
know?
know. We'll have your chart up there with all of your stuff. I'm like, oh, she's so organized.
Take a picture of my whiteboard so you can see it. But I do that so that every day I'm not struggling to do something. It
Absolutely.
has to be in peace. It has to
Absolutely.
be in ease and grace. It can't be, oh, I'm rushing, hurry up and get. No, it has to
Mhm.
be a certain order.
Mhm.
I don't mind chaos, but I'm gonna bring that chaos to order as soon as I
Absolutely.
can. You know,
Absolutely.
so that is really good. So now, do you remember how long it took that process for you to move into yourself? I remember meeting you, and we didn't start Masterforce right away.
Right.
You started right. You started your. But do you remember how? I bet that's about that. I bet that's about an 8 or 9 month time period when I'm thinking about
When I started Masterforce, you
it.
think?
After we met, because I remember us meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and you had started Restored,
It
and
was
then I was
about.
coming to some of your classes and sharing
Mm-hmm.
and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. I think it was about that amount of time. When
yeah.
I started detoxing, actually this month, December 26th, will be my 16th year anniversary of me actually this much
Wow.
shutting everything down and going on a liquid fast and saying, I want to start all over like when I was in the womb. In the womb, I was not chewing. In the womb, I
Mm-hmm.
was getting food from my mother. I'm going to go back to the womb experience because I need to figure some things out. um, so that was 16 years ago. And I believe, for the awakening and things that happened, it was probably like a 6 month period because by that time I left my company about 6 months to start Restored. So I left the pharmaceutical sales industry. My eyes had opened
Wow.
up to what the industry was actually doing to people. And that
And I
was
bet that
all,
was hard to see. Yeah,
oh,
when I watch some of the documentaries on the pharmaceuticals, I'm just like, please don't take anything. Don't give your children. It's so many homeopathic elements out here that you can use, but you know, it's crazy.
11 years of selling drugs thinking in my head that I was helping people. Now, I never liked drugs
Absolutely.
myself, but
Yes.
selling them, promoting them, giving all my energy and time into an industry that's killing people. So, and I actually got that from the creator. That wasn't something that was supported by my church. It wasn't anything
No.
supported by friends or family. They were like, girl, you crazy. You don't leave your company trying to start a business and you're making good money and you got company cards and company credit cards. Why would you?
Come
You
on.
know,
That's the talk of the town right there. You got the company car, you got the company credit card. That's a good job.
it's a good job. You're living in a loft in the 25th and Dearborn area, near the South Loop area, girl, and you're gonna leave your good job, good job,
You
and start a
crazy.
business doing what? The trillion. What she say? What you say? Clear it up.
um,
The $1 trillion industry will shut you down. You too. Oh,
oh, right,
okay.
right, right, right. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank
Right.
you. Thank you for that. Yes.
Yes.
So
So, but that
basically,
was mm-hmm.
it was time for
Yeah.
me because then I had tapped into my soul purpose, and then it came to me that I was a healer and I was here to do great work, and it was the opposite of the occupation that I actually was in.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
And but I'm so glad that we realize now that some of the experiences that we had was part of producing the wisdom that we are now. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
had to go through those things. We had to
Yes,
experience those things to even be able to teach, to even have the motivation. Because if we had not
yes.
gotten through those, what would we be teaching?
Absolutely, absolutely true. And lifestyle illnesses and things like that. Actually, I did get to have, I'm speaking to Yeshaya's point, I did get to have some really good conversations with many of my doctors from India who believed
Mhm,
in lifestyle changes or holistic health before I left the industry. And they were very supportive of what my journey was, what was getting ready to happen in my journey. Very supportive
mhm,
of what I wanted to do. Even one of the cardiologists that I used to call on was very proud of me and in me getting my certification as a registered naturopathic doctor, and very proud. He said, it's very much needed. It's not respected, but I am proud of you. And I'm like, but these
mm,
were my Indian doctors, so yeah.
mhm. I love that. So now let's talk about a little bit more about vibration. You've mentioned it a couple of times, and we're
Mm,
always talking about raising your vibration. How does
mhm.
vibration, in the conversation of love, kindness, and gratitude, how does vibration and those elements really make a difference in how we attract wealth or keep our health optimal?
Mm. Yeah, so I always go back to Dr. Hawkins' book, Power versus Force. When you introduced that book
Oh,
to us, and I actually keep it in, I brought it even to Costa Rica. I love this book.
yes, I love that
I
book too.
love this book. And, he talks about map consciousness. And when he talks about love, he talks about the level 500. So for those who haven't read the book and not familiar, he actually has illustrated in that book how um, there are different emotions that are equivalent to, that vibrate at certain levels, I guess is a better way to say it. And these higher level vibrations, like love and kindness and gratitude, are higher vibrations that impact our physical health, our physical bodies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I'm always visualizing, like, what level am I on, and what level am
Yes.
I working towards? Because I really feel strongly that when you look at love and kindness, like love is 500, I think kindness may resonate at like 540 with gratitude or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but then, like, just so that people understand, like anger and things like that is like under a level 200. So those are lower
Yes.
level vibrations. But the higher the level, the more that you attract at higher levels. You attract who you are. So when you are striving to operate in love and kindness and gratitude, you can't help but to mentally hold positive images in your mind, emotionally feel, kind and loving, and then attracting people, places, and things that are in alignment with that. Now,
Mm.
there are people who say, well, there are good people, who have bad experiences, right?
Mm.
It's a judge. You don't know what's on people's mind, because fear, anxiety is something that a lot of people around that are good people, that are
Has
happy
nothing.
people.
I was just telling somebody the universe, God is no respecter of person. I don't care how
Exactly.
good you act, it's what's going on inside
Yep.
you. You can
Yeah,
smile and have a knife behind your back.
that's right.
You
How
know, so
can you
people talk,
judge
oh, I'm
somebody?
good. Right. Yeah, I'm good. Well, you
Mhm,
can be good
mhm.
all day. You know, and then the other part of that that I had to learn the hard way, those things that you do judge harshly, you've just condemned yourself to experience them.
Exactly. Absolutely true.
And this is why it
Absolutely
says
true.
judge not, be judge not and be not judged. Because you can
Right.
observe, I can observe something without forming a hard opinion about, oh, that, no, you can observe.
Exactly. Exactly. And I always say people get to learn. I got to learn how I got to learn.
Yes.
Allow people to learn how they learn.
Allow people to learn.
And it's okay.
And if they ask you for input, it's the input is not to save them,
Right.
but to actually
Right.
let them see the reflection of themselves. That's why we say mirror greatness. Like I can
Yeah.
see you even when you can't see yourself. I can see your greatness. I
Yes.
can see that
Yes.
was shielding it.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
I
being
love that you brought
aware.
up. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Being aware. Hmm.
Well, I was going to say with what you were talking about earlier, your energy and then the frequency that you are on, this is all a part of that awareness, all a part of the health and wealth. You attract abundance when you are at a high frequency. And
Hmm.
yeah, the joy, the gratitude, the love, the peace, the enlightenment are all those higher levels of vibration that Dr. Hawkins talks about.
Yes. I love the different teachers that we've come across because everything is inside. Everyone that we talk to always takes us back to within ourselves. You know, they're
Mhm.
not saying believe in me, believe, but no, they're saying go and discover you. You know,
Yeah,
go in and connect to your
yes.
soul. That's why we say that Master Force is coaching for the soul, because we're not trying to have you figure out how many zeros you can put in your bank account or how many letters you can put behind your name. You can do that on your own.
You do that on
Where
your
are people
own.
teaching you how to love? That was what my thing was. Who's teaching you how to love?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, who's
Like
teaching you?
the one of the greatest powers, one of
Yeah,
the greatest powers.
it's the greatest power. Love actually overcomes so much.
It
That
does.
frequency is like putting a plug in the wall. You know, you put the plug in the wall, you know.
It does. And Yeshua, for the religious people, he said the number one command when he left this earth was to love one another. That was just the number
Mm,
one thing. And nobody seems to remember that. They remember bring your tithes into the storehouse.
wow.
They don't remember anything else. And that was the number one thing, to love one another.
Hmm.
Absolutely true.
Wow. You know, we're getting close to time, and I haven't even went through this whole list.
We always do this, bro.
All the questions with you.
We always do this.
Our
Okay.
producers say, and love the temple, love your body, love you. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Respect. Respect, love. Yes.
Yeah. And you know, I want people to um, reach for you, you
Mm.
know, and really the work that you are doing is just amazing. I love the freedom journey, you know, getting people to realize you do not have to live. If you're complaining about the cold in the winter, you don't have to live there.
Are you there? Why?
It's a choice. So now create something
Why?
different. So what
Yeah.
if it's your nobody supports nobody? Nobody has ever supported much of anything that I do. It's like, well, okay, universe, is this what we doing? Okay.
Exactly.
I'm not
Exactly.
checking for other people. Okay. I'm
Right.
not checking.
Right. Right.
Okay. It's me and you, universe. And then you move, you go, you do. And then everything that you need is just there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I have been on this earth for 54 years. And I say to myself, girl, 20, 30, 40 years ago, you had no idea that you were going to be here right now. You will not become fearful. You will not doubt anything. You are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're supported by the higher
Yes.
being, and that's all you need.
Come on.
And that's how I'm flowing. That is how I'm flowing.
I'm with you on that. I didn't think I would live past 30. I didn't read until years later, and Dr. Jafunza, what's his name? J- anyway, he wrote a book
Mhm.
about Black boys that live in urban communities, and how most of them do not see themselves living past 30. And I was like
Mhm.
that. But I saw people in my community being killed, being gunned down, my family.
Mhm.
I buried more people than I have alive right now, almost in my family, and it was so interesting that, I couldn't believe, like, do, am I the only person, am I the only
Yeah.
person seeing all of this death,
Yeah.
you know? And so now to be double that third, it's like, yeah, it's open. It's all open now. It's like
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
make me scared.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think once you
you know,
overcome the fear of dying, that's freedom.
that's freedom.
Under, understand what it is and live your life.
Yes. And then I think we also operate from the plain conversation that energy, it never
Mhm.
dies. It
Never
can't be
die.
destroyed. It only changes. It transforms. You
Hmm.
know. And then I remember, Dr. Tammy, when you took that course in Akashic Records.
Uh-huh, the Akashic Records course. Yeah. Ooh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God. You were just like, move. Let me, that in itself, being able to look and remember, like, the
Mm.
lives that, come on now.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what being still is about, because those downloads
Powerful.
come.
Oh, my goodness. Powerful. Powerful. Yes.
Yes. And
To
that's what
know
we want to
about
encourage
your
people to
past
do.
lives and what you were doing
Hmm.
and what you experienced and powerful. Yes,
You forget, yeah, that was a long time ago. You see, I remember that opening. That was a huge
yeah,
opening for you. I do
it
remember
was.
that.
It
That's
was.
wonderful.
Yes.
So now, do you have any programs or anything going on right now that people can engage with you with, or you have something coming up? You're going to start something in the new year?
Yeah. So I am sunsetting the Restore Detox classes. I'm actually conducting my final holistic detox class this month. So I'm
Wow.
excited about it. You know, it's been 14 years. It's been a long time. And
Yes.
most people, there are a lot of people that teach detoxing now that were not around, when I started in
Girl, I,
2010.
I quit teaching all that stuff. I'm like, everybody teaching breathing and meditation. I don't have to do none of that
Yeah, I'm
visualization.
gonna say, yeah, everybody is doing it,
Mhm.
and so actually, me and my partner, who he was my business partner, and we just recently, so you'll be the first to know, a week ago decided that we were going to unite, and so
Am I producing another wedding? Am I going to? I will come there. Okay.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Congratulations. That is
thank
huge.
you.
I
Thank you,
didn't see
thank
that
you.
coming. I don't know what I thought you were getting ready to say, but
Yeah, definitely a spiritual thing. I
yes.
don't know that I'll do a wedding. I don't know that I do that, but definitely a spiritual
No, but I
ceremony.
mean, it could be a
Um,
ceremony. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
That's
we're
what we
not
do.
really. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we
Mm-hmm.
do. It's that yeah, and so we actually had created a program because we it's time to take it to another level. The information
I
that I've
saw, yeah,
learned,
yes.
yeah, about parasites, the parasite
Oh,
cleanses and how the parasites are impacting the brain
mm,
and the demonic forces and all of that, which all has to do with these parasites that are all over our
yes.
bodies. That
Yeah.
we're wondering why we're still having certain cravings or why we're thinking certain ways. We have these parasites. And I always knew about the parasites in the colon
Yeah.
area, which is
Yeah.
was why I would always get colonics because they crave sugar and things like that. But we have a program that is incorporating plant medicine that is
Mm-hmm.
actually helping accelerate healing. Um, and so I don't know how much I could say on here, but for the most part, we'll be having retreats, private retreats for our soul family. So it's not open to just anyone, but private retreats where if the people get down here in our soul family, get down here and we're going to teach you how to heal and cleanse and accelerate that
That is
healing
so
process
wonderful.
in preparation for what's to come. The we call to the leaders, the 144,000, the Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. And we
Mm-hmm.
have work to do. We have work to do. So we are really wanting to help those who've already been doing the work take it to that next level. And plant medicine is
Absolutely.
the way for sure.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So that
And
will
then
start next year. Mhm.
yeah, I was gonna say you'll be putting some literature out about that, and we'll be able to follow you on it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm,
We do have a virtual program, which is on the website, restoredbytammy.com, that people can kind of take
mm,
a look to see virtually kind of what we have going on if they cannot make it to Costa Rica. But we are encouraging those who are really like, you got to get out of the matrix. You got to unplug
and you got
and
to
do
get in that
something for
sun. That's
yourself.
all
You
I
got
keep
to get in
feeling.
the
Get in that
sun.
sun. The
Oh,
sun
get
is
in the
so
sun.
nurturing.
Yes, the
Yes.
grounding, the hugging. You got to get out of those environments
Mm,
that have made you sick and come into an
mm-hmm.
environment where you can totally focus on yourself and you have the support. You have our support
Yes.
in helping you to break through that programming and to get to your next level. So I'm pretty excited about
I'm
that.
loving that. And then I noticed you did mention Power versus Force. Is there any other books or anything that you would recommend for people who are moving inside of
Yeah.
health is wealth and really, as we start at ground zero, we want to have
Hmm.
people to be able to go and start researching and learning on their own, and that's
Hmm.
why we ask for what is any literature that has made the biggest difference in you moving, forward. So what would you share?
Well, I have to really start with Patiently Waiting for Nothing by Mushin
Oh,
Su, by
you
Rita
guys.
Stewart. When
Oh.
Kiana said that on Sunday, I was like, of course, we have to promote that because without you, I would not be where I am because it's one
Mm,
thing to fast, it's one thing but it's another that whole mind, mental peace. That piece is so important to be able to incorporate the tools that we
mhm.
even talked about today. So I want to encourage people to go on Amazon and get Patiently Waiting for Nothing to get some amazing affirmations, especially people who have a hard time with self-love that they
Well, and now that you said that, wait, because the 20th anniversary will be dropping
ooh,
within the next couple of weeks. I'm waiting right now on the final book as we speak, on the final, we
Oh,
went through that process. So it's in the mail on its way to me. So it will be dropping to
yay.
Amazon. The idea is before my birthday. So
Awesome. Well, I already
thank
pre-ordered
you.
my book, so I am looking
Yes, you
forward to
did.
it.
Yes.
So I definitely wanted to support that because, like I said, what I started in the beginning, without the mindset being in place, it's very challenging to incorporate the other things.
Hmm.
Also, I talked about fasting, and Professor Arnold Ehret is one of the, I guess, kings or whatever you want to call it, of like water fasting. This is the book that I encourage people to do, to look at. How to Do the Work. Nicole LaPera is like
Hmm.
one of my favorite books because I feel like she was in my living room, like she was a part of my detox programs, and she put everything that I've ever taught into this book. Like this should
In
have
the
been a
book.
book I wrote, but she got
Hmm.
to it, and I'm not mad at her because she did an excellent job, Dr. Nicole LaPera. So this is one of my favorite ones. And
Wonderful.
of course, Deepak Chopra, Reinventing the Body, Resurrecting the Soul, was the first book that I purchased 15 years ago when I started my
Yes.
transformation and learning the mind body energy connection. That was Dr.
Hmm.
Deepak Chopra. And then I got to give credit to Dr. Africa, his holistic health book. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
that's that's whose program I learned all that all about natural healing and health and wellness to reverse
Yes.
my high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fibroids, all of that from him and Dr. Derek Williams, my naturopathic doctor. So definitely his book is worth purchasing. And then of course Power versus Force, Dr. Hawkins.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh my goodness. I mean, just, it's so exciting to just be around this knowledge, all this base of knowledge. I, so many places, you're the smartest person in the room. I get to be around all the smart people, what I'm saying? That is just like, yeah, I love it,
Mirror, mirror, mirror,
It is
mirror.
so wonderful. So thank you for that. And then,
Oh, thank you.
do you have any final words, Dr. Tammy? I want to give you say it. What is that you have to say to people before we sign off tonight?
Well, 2025 is going to be a very challenging year for many reasons. I don't know if you all have noticed that the sun is getting hotter. We have things going on in the sky that possibly may be, extraterrestrial, alien like. I have no idea. I don't want to get in trouble with what I have to say, but I want to encourage everyone, if you have not connected with the creator of your soul, and I use creator of your soul so that I am not being religious, that I can just have a term. There is a creator that created your
Yeah,
soul, whatever you want to call that creator.
yeah,
But really getting quiet and really connected with the creator, tapping into your intuition. If you don't know what intuition is, learn about it. Get with a coach. Whatever it is that you need to do in order to get in alignment with your authentic self. We see the patriarchal society. We see the patriarchal structure falling. The matriarchal structure is in effect, is developing, and the things that we used to do is not going to work going into this new year. So it's very important to fast, be quiet, turn off the electronics. They are programming your brain to be workers, to complete the assignments of those who want to be rich. And it's causing, especially those whose vibration is low, whose health is suffering, who energy level is that it's time to do something different. Pay attention to the sign.
Mm.
Don't have fear. Get a coach. Get someone that can support you going to your next level. But do not continue to just sit. The sun is getting hotter. We need to be less dense. We got the excess waste that people are walking around with. You got to release that waste. Why are you holding on to it? Excess fat is a protector. What are you being protected from? Do your internal work. That's all I got.
Bravo. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
And I
Mission
want to
Sue.
thank you so much for being just someone who always says yes, Dr. Tammy. Any
Mm.
initiative that I bring up based on what Alanda and Ushaz tell me to do, you're like, okay, I'm in, and I love that about you. You're kind of like, you give me so much energy inside of that. And I love that about you. And you've always did that. So thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you,
And
Lord.
tonight's conversation was awesome. And I just want to thank everyone who's been actually flowing with us for these many years. This is our 19th season. So
Yay.
thank you. And we continue tomorrow inside of a conversation of the wealth factor. And we're going to be talking about the third pillar of wealth, which is knowledge. And we'll be joined by our wonderful senior coach, Lotus Love, who will come and share with us absolutely the power of knowledge and really using that to turn it into the wealth that we all require, and we're worth it. So be sure to tune in tomorrow, and you can also look at any previous episodes of Ignite Your Soul Connection on our YouTube channel, Ignite Your Soul Connection. So, and then shout out to our producer. Thank you. All right,
Thank you,
everybody. See you
Ushaz.
tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.